Let me get comfortable, kids. That sounded really creepy. Don't put that in the fucking episode. Actually.
Well, that's true. This is my edit, so it might.
Yeah, no, you make me look like an idiot often.
Well,
I
have a little help.
It's not hard, yeah.
You intro.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Justin. No, fuck, Jesus.
Well, that one's definitely staying.
Oh my god, okay. Boop. Take two.
Buyer's Remorse.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Remorse. I'm Darren.
And I'm Justin.
On this show, we torture each other with games that have been sitting in our library, unplayed, and then we make them play them. Or maybe we make each other play them, I should say. So, last week, I chose...
Your description of the show gets worse.
It gets worse every time, doesn't it?
I can't wait for, episode 50. I can only imagine what you're going to sound like.
I'm just going to be like, duh. Just, I don't know, man. Welcome to our show. I don't know who I am, and I don't know who the fuck this guy is sitting in front of me.
I don't know who you are with that intro. Let's focus a little bit. You had me play System Shock 2.
Oh, that's right. Yes. I'm very interested to see what
for
you think
1
about this
hour.
game.
So let's talk a little history. This game on Steam has very positive reviews. 3,493 positive reviews. It was made by Irrational Games and Looking Glass Studios back in 1999. So we're talking...
That's right.
Practically 20 years ago. It's won a ton of awards. It has a score of 92 on Metacritic. It's insanely well reviewed. So I played it for an hour. It is roughly about $10, so keep that in mind. I think it's probably a 10-hour game, isn't it?
At least.
So let's talk right away about the options. You have easy, normal, hard, and impossible.
Oh, yeah.
Which I believe I chose normal. I always try normal. Though on the second playthrough, I might choose easy.
Yes, that would be a good idea.
It doesn't work with the controller, so I'm already at a disadvantage. And that really bothered me. So I've not played System Shock 1. I don't really even know what System Shock 1 is about, except for the bit of exposition they give you at the beginning. And there's some sort of voiceover where she says, "Look at you hackers sweating as you run through my halls." I guess that's some sort of reference to the first game. The year is 2072. Rogue AI has, I guess, lost her mind, sees herself as a goddess, and we're now 42 years later. But I didn't know, I'm very confused, is that 42 years after 2072, or is it 42 years after 1999?
Right. I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. I was hoping that you would, because no. I found the way that they gave me that information to be very confusing. Not that it really matters at this point. 2072 may as well be 2152, but I would say
it was 42 years before 2072 or whatever, maybe, I've got no idea.
Okay, so we have a very long cutscene of military propaganda about space exploration. There's a lot of not really getting to the game in this game, and that's pretty much going to be the theme of this entire episode. We're talking this timeline. All right, so 2072, and then the 42 years later, which may be. But then it says 4 years earlier. Wait, 4 years earlier than what? 2072? Then the 42 years later? I'm so confused by the timeline. And I haven't even started the game yet. I haven't really started to play. Okay, so finally, boom. Now there I am. I can play.
Who gives a shit what year it is?
I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on. I apparently get off of a train. I see payphones that I can't actually use. There's a lot that I can't use. There are people in a booth that don't even seem to notice that I exist. I basically have to take a grav shaft to the recruitment center of the UNN.
Is that the United Nations?
I have a feeling I'm supposed to know it, but I have no idea. Yeah. I think there was a giant UNN banner, and maybe that's how I knew. A robot tells me to go to basic training, so I go into that section.
This is funny. I don't remember any of this.
Yeah, so I go into that section where I learn to jump, mess with my inventory, use my PDA, and how to push buttons.
Right.
I go into the advanced training, which teaches me weapons, technical, and sci skills. So with weapons, I've got like a bullet gun, a
bullet gun.
Well, I have to say that because there's a laser gun.
Okay.
So I don't know, physical ammo gun versus an energy weapon, kind of laser gun, and some sort of maintenance tool I have to use to repair the weapons because they break down, apparently, which I'm not a big fan of, to be honest. There was a lot of that in Oblivion where I had to go and find hammers and buy hammers to repair stuff.
Fallout New Vegas?
Yeah. The best thing in Oblivion, though, was I had the probably Game of the Year edition or whatever, so there was some sort of side story where I could get this special armor. And what I found was with the special armor, even though it probably wasn't the best armor in the game, I could always take it back to this shrine and place it back onto the stand, and then it would be fully healed, and I could take it back again. So it ended any sort of like maintenance when it came to armor for me from that point on.
Do you have to repair armor constantly in Oblivion?
Yeah. Yeah, Oblivion was really bad for that.
I liked in New Vegas, like jury rigging, and then that solved a lot of problems in that game, like not having to find the exact weapon to repair your old one. But anyway, who cares? Let's continue.
Back to the game. Technical. With the technical one, I got to learn how to hack doors, which, to be honest, doesn't look fun. It's the only time I did it in the whole game.
Refresh my memory. How do you hack doors again? Like, what is it? Is it a mini game you have to do? I'm guessing, because it's Bioshock, it's the same team.
Yeah, kind of.
So, what was it again?
But it wasn't as good as the Bioshock ones. I like the Bioshock ones. Honestly, now, because we haven't been able to record for a few weeks, so I honestly don't remember. I just remember going, this... it's not as bad as hacking in, say, Deus Ex Human Revolutions, but it's not as fun as Bioshock, so it's somewhere in between. You can buy items with nanite, and it's at this point that I get cryogene and the psi pull. So, not disciple like disciple, but psi as in psykinetic pull. So I can bring things closer to me, and I can freeze things. And then I can now go on to recruitment. So, at this point, this is where the game totally... I mean, remember, I only get to play this game for an hour. This game baffles me so much, because now I have to choose the OSA, the Navy, or the Marines, but I have no idea what any of these mean. So I'm kind of assuming that the Marines are all about fighting and weapons. I've got that. OSA is so ridiculous, it must be the psychic powers.
Yeah.
But the Navy, what, am I going to be a pilot? So clearly that must be, I think it probably does say in there somewhere, like, that's more the tech person, like the...
Yeah, like the engineer.
Yeah, it's a bit more like that. So then I choose, I'm pretty sure I chose the OSA. And
good choice.
Then I get the cutscene of the shuttle, and then I start in Shuttle Bay, year one. And
of when we don't know, yeah.
Yeah, so I do know it's year one of the 4 years earlier. I do know that it does relate to that. But I'm told to choose the correct shuttle bay, and there are humans there, but they don't talk to me, they don't interact. I just have to go and read the descriptions to choose what I'm going to study. They all offer, I think, the freezing psi power. I think you get that kind of no matter what. But I think that's because I chose the OSA. Right. So I'm getting this basic one. But I could get Cyber Affinity, Psi Pull, or Psi Shield. So basically I have to choose. So it took me a little bit to realize what they were offering. So yeah, they are all offering one same thing and one different thing. So this is the pattern for how it's going to work. But that first one took me a while to figure that out. I go ahead and I've underlined Cyber Affinity. I think because I had already done Psi Pull, I wanted to try something different. So Cyber Affinity. So I choose that and I go, and it just leads me to another shuttle bay. So I don't actually get to try out my new powers. Year 2. Choose again, ? In my notes. Okay, when am I going to get to use these abilities? 30 minutes in, and I've not actually felt like I've played the game yet. I can choose interrogation, research, or endurance. And I chose research at this point.
That's a good choice.
Is it? Okay,
Yep.
well, that's good to know. Year 3,
Jesus.
field operations, group field operations, or field operations. Okay, so, and I think I chose... Oh, no, sorry. It's, I think, physical field operations, which is what I chose. So you can kind of go undercover and destroy from within. So you're basically Donnie Brasco, like you're going undercover and you're going to take out the resistance from within. This sounds very cool. But you don't actually get to do that part. You just, every time after these years of training, you're just told, well, you learned a lot in that year doing something. Now on to your next year. But now I'm finally playing. So finally, I don't know, it's probably like 40, 45 minutes at this point. I'm finally actually getting to play the game. There's a radio dish that explodes. There's lots of people dead.
Okay, this is where I'm starting to remember now, yeah.
I see a mutant attacking a woman.
Yep.
I pick up a PDA that has the door code so that I can get through. But just as I'm getting going, I'm given like 4 nodules to spend on a skill tree.
Yeah.
And it's in 4 sections. So now I again have to read everything and choose what I want to do, having no idea what any of this stuff really does or will be worth in the game.
And this is a huge problem with this game, because you go in blind, they don't tell you anything, and you get to the end of the game, you're like, oh shit, I really wish I'd put those points into that, because I really need that skill now.
And what really bothered me was I didn't have enough for any of the things I really wanted. And some of the stuff I feel could have been really, really useful in this first part. I see a ghost, which is interesting. So this gives a bit of story. I don't know why I'm seeing a ghost. I don't know what the ghost has to do with anything. I don't know if it's really a ghost. I don't know what's going on with that. But I can't find my card. So it's like, I just kept thinking, please let me out of here. Like, will the ghost let me out of here? How do I get out of this spot? Because I feel like I'm trapped. I think I ended up having to take like an elevator or something. But here's the problem. Finally, I get to the mutants. And somebody's attacking me. As the narrator is explaining something very, very important. Like, what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Press E to interact with this.
Don't tell me what I'm supposed to be doing while I'm being attacked. And just, you've had 45 minutes to tell me important stuff. Why are you waiting until now when I'm being attacked? I think I do kill the first one. And I find some hypos in the med lab so that can help heal me.
And you need a boatload of them.
I find a bioreconstruction unit, so much like Bioshock, where you can start over again. But unlike Bioshock, it costs you something super important, and this is going to be a problem later. So here's the thing. This is my hour. That was it.
Oh, man.
I spent the whole hour going
to college.
the tutorials, and not even actually going to the college. I'm just told how much fun college was.
Yeah.
That first hour kind of sucks. Honestly. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on. And, I mean, it's 1999. It doesn't look that great.
No.
Even though original Bioshock is old at this point, it is still so beautiful. System Shock 2 is not beautiful.
Yeah, there was a big difference like in engines between like 1999 and maybe 2003. There's a huge leap because like Half-Life is not a very pretty game. That's why it's been remade and remastered and done by different teams who've taken it because Valve won't do anything with it. But yeah, there's a notable, massive leap in technology in those like 3 or 4 years, man. Yeah, System Shock 2 is not a very pretty thing to look at.
So let's talk about my hour. So I didn't feel like I got very far. I had to read a lot.
Yeah, there's a ton.
And it just bogged everything down at the beginning. My biggest action was ridiculously easy training.
Did you get to kill anything?
At this point, that's a good question. I think I did at this point. I think I killed one guy.
With like a crowbar or whatever you've got in the beginning. Or did you have a gun?
I don't think I had a crowbar. Did I have a crowbar?
I think so. You've got some... Oh, the wrench. It's the Bioshock. It's not the crowbar's Half-Life. The wrench. You must have clocked someone with the wrench by this point.
Do I have a wrench?
You picked one up. Or you should have. Can't kill anything otherwise.
I don't know if I had one. No, because I used my psi powers.
Oh, right. So you didn't even get the wrench yet.
I don't know if I got the wrench. But this is what really irritated me, because I picked up a gun, but I couldn't even use it because I didn't even have like the most basic level 1 to use a gun. And this is where I really got irritated with going back to that idea of I've only got the 4 units to buy something, and to be able to buy even the most basic, like, I can shoot a gun, cost more than that. And that drove me crazy. Because running out of power, psi power, happens very, very quickly, especially when you're being attacked. So I didn't like that at all. Let's talk just a little bit beyond, because I felt really annoyed. So when I give my final review, actually, I'm going to include this in it. It wasn't much more. It was maybe 10 more minutes. Okay? So it's cheating a little bit, but believe me, it would have the same review even without this, but it does make it a little bit worse. So let's talk about what happened. I did kill, I think, 1 mutant, but the second one killed me. Now, luckily, I had found the regeneration pod, booth, whatever. So I was reconstructed, but here's what happened. As I left the booth, another mutant came to kill me. I killed that one, and then another one came in to kill me. A never-ending stream of mutants seemed to come into this room where I was supposed to come back to life and would kill me over and over and over. And with each death, I lost a bit of currency. And when I ran out of currency, I ran out of continues. So essentially, 15 guys, a never-ending stream of guys, just came in and killed me one by one. Me, again, not knowing if I have a wrench. I don't even know if I did at this point. Maybe it was in my inventory automatically and I don't know it. But I was out of energy and I couldn't shoot the gun I had. So I had nothing to kill them with. I felt helpless. I felt like this is the stupidest game ever. And I could not understand how this could have a 92 Metacritic score, how it could have so many awards to it. It must have been great in its day, but boy, did it not feel good now.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Tags. First person shooter, definitely. Powers, I'll give it. Power selection, yes. Because that's all I did for the first hour. So there's probably more to the game.
What about reading?
I mean, that would definitely fit, but I wouldn't put that in the first 3. I think choosing the power is why you're reading in the first hour.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I got out of the first hour.
So would you pick it up again and play it? Would you want to see what's going on next?
It's such a classic game that everybody has played and says is good. The problem is I've played BioShock. And having played a much, much better game, it's tough to want to go back to this kind of lesser version of that. Will I pick it up again? Yeah, possibly. I mean, I think that I'll probably try it. I bought it because I wanted to try it. And I feel like I didn't really get anywhere. Obviously, I'll save more next time because I was counting on it being more an autosave thing that I guess maybe back then wasn't quite as popular or not done quite as well. I think I can keep going back to this chamber or maybe even not. I think I may have completely run out of continues. But I will save constantly.
Yeah, I think there's a manual save in the game. You can save it anywhere.
So that's what I need to do is constantly save. I would like to play it again, though I do feel, again, cheated at the beginning because I'm told to make myself without actually knowing what this is about or how it's going to work.
You do get a chance later on in the game to kind of fix your mistakes and rearrange stuff, which is extremely important. Because, yeah, you are going in blind. You don't know anything about... Like, you don't have a fucking crystal ball to tell you what's happening. It's like, you're going in blind, completely blind. And especially after 4 years of training with, like, the super CIA, whatever. But they didn't think to tell you what you should be spending your points in.
So I think I will definitely try it again. But when it comes to that first hour, if I only had the first hour, and gosh, that's a crucial time. Because if you play it at a friend's house, or you're playing a demo at a convention or something, you're lucky if you can get a whole hour.
Well, if they were playing a demo of that, then they wouldn't even put that part in. They'd put you in the action somewhere.
Well, I would hope so. But for me, jumping in the first hour, honestly, I think that in the end, I will probably like it. But that first hour is Remorse. I didn't enjoy the hour, especially if you cut in that extra 10 minutes where I was just being beaten up.
Beaten to death over and over again.
Over and over again with no recourse to save myself. And when I am regenerated, I don't come back with more energy. So I'm just coming back empty. This is not fun.
It's hard, man. It's hard. This isn't what this show's about. We're not in it to debate about what's good or bad about it,
But you've played it already, so...
Yeah, I've played it already, and I think people listening to this will probably already be seeing red that you've said that Bioshock's better than this. They will hunt you down, man. Like, there's people that are very passionate about this game. They see Bioshock as an insult. Like,
well, they can, but I'll tell you, the first hour of Bioshock versus the first hour of System Shock, well, System Shock 2, I think it's no comparison.
I mean, story-wise, I think the problem is Bioshock is System Shock, pretty much. And people forget that. And so the old school people are like, oh, Bioshock is awesome and System Shock's not. It's like, well, that's where Bioshock comes from. Like, you wouldn't have Bioshock unless you had System Shock 2.
Yeah, I can appreciate that.
But yeah, it is hard as balls, man, this game. It's not easy. And again, that's another pull for people like who don't want candy-coated, easy kind of shooters, you know? It is hard, but I'd agree. System Shock 2 is hard to an nth degree where, yeah, they're essentially saying, we're not really telling you what these skills do or how many of these little nodules you're going to get. And you can't, it's not like Skyrim where you're master of everything, master of the universe. You got to be really careful about where you assign those nodes or nodules or whatever they're called. Yeah,
but that's where I like Bioshock, where they give you those little commercials showing you what the powers do,
right,
before you choose, and they're also limited somewhat. Whereas in this game, there's just such a wide variety, and maybe that's why. Maybe the people who prefer this one, they like the amount of choice.
I think this game is more like an RPG. It's a sci-fi RPG, but is also a first-person shooter. Bioshock is more of just the normal first-person shooter with some RPG elements. This is an RPG with some first-person shooter elements to it. And that's maybe where the big divide is. Like, it's not a difference of opinion on what game is better. It's almost like the genre, maybe. But I don't know. Yeah, that sounds like a rough hour, man.
I think this is one that possibly, if I do pick it back up again, I might do an update later of how I felt about it after having more than an hour into it. But I'm basically going to have to start the game all over again.
Right.
Because I think I've ran out of continues. So that's really not fun to replay an entire hour.
Do the whole 45 minutes of college again.
Yeah. So in the future, maybe I'll have a different opinion. I think people who like this kind of game, yeah, I'd recommend it. But I've got to recommend it to people who are willing to put up with old school graphics, not being able to use a controller, who are willing to play a difficult game. And I would say that is a smaller sect of the people I know. So I would say that this is probably a harder sell than some other games that I would probably recommend.
Buyer's Remorse.
Buyer's Remorse.
I wanted to like it so much.